That's right, my friends. It's time for you to make a choice. Get off that fence and go put your tuchus on the floor. Because, of course, everybody is talking about what is going to happen at WrestleMania 40, myself included. I'm officially making too many videos about this, but I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, well, I wonder what the greater community thinks, or in this instance, the platform that I have. Because now it doesn't seem like it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber in Australia. Again, anything can change, especially because we need to get through the Royal Rumble first, our next premium live event. But people have been making very good points. One, it probably is going to be The Rock's last ever match. I doubt he doesn't want to do it at not WrestleMania, which is not good English. And two, yes, as Dave Meltzer reported, and always we take this stuff with a pinch of salt because we don't know. If you actually do go and do some Googling, Roman Reigns hasn't even been advertised for the Elimination Chamber yet. Now again, that could change right now. I could go back on my internet and WWE like, oh my gosh, Roman Reigns is going across the world. I mean, they announced CM Punk over the weekend. But using the information that we do have now, and because I have been pondering on it a lot, I would imagine that it is, in some guys, going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, look, before we go anywhere, I want to make it very clear, I'm in love with Cody Rhodes. I think Cody Rhodes is a wonderful person, and I want him to finish his story. But at the same time, I don't think we should get too mad that The Rock may have a match at WrestleMania. I mean, some people have been clamoring for this for years, so while it probably would have been better a year ago or 2 years ago, let's just take what we can get and stick it into our face. Because right now, really, wrestling is better than ever. Now, the other things that we can do, of course, is The Rock versus Roman on night 1, and then Roman versus Cody on night 2. And some people still think The Rock should win that match, which blows my mind. That would be the worst thing ever. But the more I kind of let it run through my brain, I actually think the coolest thing to do is The Rock versus Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Because let's look at it like this. And again, we're going to try and look at it as realistic as possible. We're going to try not to be fantasy booking, is what I mean. Because I think it is quite clear that whatever Triple H had planned, it was going to end at WrestleMania night 2 with Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes part 2. That's why on SmackDown a few weeks ago, they looked at each other, which you do in wrestling when you want to be super serious. So if all of a sudden someone like The Rock does turn up on your doorstep, and let's face it, The Rock is such a big star, he's probably bigger than WWE. I mean, I think he is. Again, more people know who The Rock is than they know what the WWE is. Most probably. I don't know, I'm speculating, and I'm making it up. But if all of a sudden this wonderful treat does arrive on your doorstep, I'm like, well, you don't want to mess up your dinner, right? You've already planned your dinner. For some reason, you've been planning this for 12 months. I don't know why. You should just eat it on the day you wanted it. But you have done this. So if all of a sudden a wonderful side arrives and it doesn't really mix in with the dinner, but you know you want to eat it, why don't you just put it all into your gullet? So why can't we make it a triple threat match? Like, genuinely, because if Cody Rhodes does win the Royal Rumble or does win the Elimination Chamber, he has kind of got himself in a position where he's allowed to call his shots, right? If I want to go to WrestleMania or main event, well, I won all this stuff and you told me that was the protocol. If all of a sudden The Rock wants to stick his oar in there as well, I don't think it's that hard a story to tell. Now, I get it. You can say it's not as good as a three-way, but this is what we've got. So it's like when people go, oh, this Batman game wouldn't be good if Batman wasn't in it. Batman is in it. Shut up. I don't think that adding The Rock is going to take much away from things. If anything, it's actually probably going to give it a bit more momentum and a bit more pizzazz because the mainstream media will go nuts about it. And I do think there is this extra caveat here. Now, look, I don't know The Rock. I don't know Dwayne Johnson. I don't know what his mindset is. I don't know how he sees the world. But I kind of figure he's probably aware that a lot of people that may come and watch wrestling because he's in it, they don't know the inner workings. I mean, they understand that it's sports entertainment and it's predetermined. They don't really understand the nuts and the bolts that make it go round. So maybe there's a side of him where he's like, well, I can't lose. Like, I can't lose. I understand I can't win, but if possible, I can't lose. Well, then the triple threat match, the three-way, absolutely works for that as well because, of course, Cody can beat Roman, which we want anyway, and The Rock can just do a dance off in the corner like, well, it's nothing to do with me. I mean, if anything, it actually would probably be something that WWE wants to do because, of course, you can do that classic triple threat finish where Roman gets absolutely murked by a rock bottom, he gets absolutely murked by a people's elbow, then Cody's in there. He gets rid of The Rock, he hits the, I don't know, the Cody cutter, and he hits the disaster kick, and he hits the crossroads. So technically, Roman has taken 6 finishes to be beaten. And once again, you may be going, well, that sounds rubbish. Let's not forget how Roman has been booked over these last few years. He has turned into Superman. He beat both Daniel Bryan and Edge by quite literally stacking them up. So sometimes we just have to accept what we're given and go with it in that direction. So I think that's the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is if we do the triple threat match, Roman loses his championship, but he doesn't get pinned. I can't handle that. A good friend of mine mentioned that the other day. I was like, nope, I'll have to stop watching wrestling for at least one day if we do that, because you cannot have someone go on a 1,500-day title reign, whatever the flub it will be by WrestleMania, and not have them pinned to the mat for the 1, 2, 3. I won't be able to process it. I won't be able to feel like a real human again, and it will send me absolutely crazy. I don't mind if The Rock and Cody murk up Roman Reigns for a bit, as long as there's no sort of super shenanigans, and it is Cody hitting his finisher and pinning the Roman Reigns for the 1, 2, 3. Because then as well, you are future-proofing yourself against what you're going to do for the rest of the year. Because The Rock may be on Raw, he's certainly not going to be on SmackDown, he's not going to be on the next Raw, and he's not going to be at Backlash, whatever the hell comes after WrestleMania. So he can do his thing, he can have his last match. Cody still finishes his story. Roman Reigns kind of gets protected, not that I think it's massive, but again, we have to still sell it in a way where it feels like Rhodey has vanquished him, whatever word you want to use. And then we get to our season premiere, which WWE kind of likes to see the Raw after WrestleMania as, and we move forward with Cody Rhodes as the champion. I think Roman Reigns should probably just go away for a while, and eventually when he does come back, he does sort of a mini heel run, but essentially he will then go babyface, and we get to have his babyface run, which will be wonderful because he's a super duper megastar. WWE has wanted this for years, and of course, because he has been a heel for so long, when you do switch someone, all of a sudden he can go fight with a bunch of other people. I mean, you could do Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton when Randy Orton is the bad guy, which also ties into a feud that Randy can have with Cody Rhodes, because do not forget, that's the other thing I'm happy to happen. If WWE are dead set on doing The Rock versus Roman Reigns one-on-one, then you somehow have to pull the trigger really early on Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, just because I cannot wait for that feud. I said this the other day, but it's true, it's ironic. It has so much legacy to it, right? That's why it was called the damn thing. And even in his time away, Cody would talk about how much he looked up to Randy Orton, how much he loves Randy Orton. So I think that would be awesome. The only shame being, yes, you are going to have to kind of get through it faster than I think we need to. I mean, what I would do is I would have Cody Rhodes be the champion and have him fight, and then you get sort of maybe to the end of 2024, maybe even WrestleMania 41, and then you do Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, because if they do it right, that is going to be pure fire. But now that I have mused on it, I don't mind the triple threat match. I'm happy for them to do it, but I really would like to know, like I say, how you feel about this. That's what the comment section is for, and when you're in there, click some stuff and subscribe and all of that. But WrestleMania 40 to me is a win-win situation. You are going to get CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Amazing. You are going to get some variation of the things that we are talking about. And if Cody is taken out of it, again, I will be disappointed because I think he's awesome. He's Cody Rhodes. He's a super duper megastar. He's a brand new John Cena, if you want to describe it that way. Whoever he has a fight with, you're going to be able to make it feel special. Then there's Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley and Gunther and Brock Lesnar will be back. I mean, it's just loaded. And this is even before we mentioned the fact that we could be doing Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. I want that more than anything because I really like the human side of wrestling because I'm a massive dork. But sometimes I just like to look at it as a job, I suppose, and remember that these guys are human beings. So if you have a twin brother that you've grown up in the industry with, and you get to WrestleMania 40, which is a big deal, and then you get to square off, even if it was the crappiest match ever, I would still find a way to enjoy it because I'm a positive Pete, and you're allowed to hate me for that. I mean, given that it is WrestleMania 42, let's not forget at WrestleMania 10, we kind of had not really three-way shenanigans, but all the stuff with Bret Hart and Lex Luger and Yokozuna, as they did kind of do the roundabout. We then had a triple threat match at 20, we had a triple threat match at 30, so maybe you can do a triple threat match at 40. I mean, I'm sure there's other triple threat matches. Well, yeah, Roman did one a few years ago. We've already talked about it. But it's rare. And in fact, it's one of the reasons Mankind, or Mick Foley, I should say, was going to be in one of the WrestleManias. I can't remember now. And it was Shawn Michaels that said, no, it should be a one-on-one match. I think it was The Rock versus Steve Austin, maybe WrestleMania 15. I don't know. And Shawn Michaels actually advocated for Mankind, Mick Foley, to be in that match. But that may be because there's some rumors The Rock and Shawn Michaels didn't get on. But again, we don't know. It's all hearsay. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. And I think WWE has so much momentum right now. And I think the Royal Rumble's going to be so good. And I think the Elimination Chamber is going to be so good that they can take their deck of cards and kind of deal them in whatever way they want. They're still going to feel this buzz and there's still going to be this excitement. But again, just because people do not listen, they just see something and go, bah! I absolutely would rather Cody Rhodes finish his story at WrestleMania 40. And if he doesn't, I do think there's probably worth in revisiting WrestleMania 39 and having the discussion, which we can do right now too, about should you pull the trigger when the iron is hot. That's not the saying. I've just made that up. But I was always cool with it because I was like, well, he's definitely going to win at WrestleMania 40. But if he doesn't, then again, like a Jedi, I'm going to have to search my feelings and see how I feel about it. But you could get to SummerSlam and do it there. I mean, WWE quite clearly is trying to make all their PLEs feel super special. So maybe that's a good way to try and get SummerSlam onto the level of a WrestleMania. Have they announced where SummerSlam is? They probably have, but you could do it in Madison's Garden, which would be amazing for obvious reasons. But I don't know. But even if I do accept this as the proper quote-unquote main event for WrestleMania 40, I still think it rocks. And I tell you why else I would like it too. I don't want Seth Rollins and CM Punk to lose their main event, especially not Seth Rollins. That dude has put in so much effort, and I think if all of a sudden we are going to do back-to-back Roman Reigns nights, then they will have to be bumped, and I do believe that would annoy me more But again, I need to see where all the dominoes fall. But I know that I'm excited, and I know that I really enjoy talking about this stuff at the moment, which is far better than us talking about the fact, oh my gosh, they started this story and then they totally forgot it. Or, oh my gosh, they made this guy lose all the time. Or, oh my gosh, 50-50 booking. Like, the conversation now is more about the narrative and more about the direction, and I always find wrestling is better when we are doing that. So it is super duper happy times. We are but a couple of weeks away from the Royal Rumble, which actually I was so convinced it was going to be CM Punk or Cody Rhodes. Now I'm not so sure. I think it probably will be CM Punk, but we do not know. But I am very, very much looking forward to finding out. But again, before you do go, comments, what do you want? I know it's going to get kind of feisty down there, so let's keep it respectful as best as we can. And look, I can tell you right now, I'm an idiot. You don't need to tell me I'm an idiot. I already know. You don't need to fill me in on that. Also, again, if you're into your fitness, please do go to GorillaMind.com/Simon. Just go to Simon and get 10% off. I vouch for these supplements more than I ever vouch for anything I've been affiliated with because I believe in them. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, social media. Simon Miller on something, Cameo. That's right. If you want a personalized video. Merchandise is Pro Wrestling Tees and Sampness Athletics, and that's probably everything. Is it? I don't know. Who even cares? We'll just wrap it up there. Otherwise, though, again, isn't it nice to enjoy pro wrestling? If you don't like something, just turn the TV off and walk away and eat some ice cream, because then you will be happy. But again, are we getting The Rock versus Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes? I'm going to say there's a 77.2% chance, which is absolute gibberish. Goodbye.